You now have clarity and you know exactly what you want, yet instead of feeling confident you feel hesitation. And that hesitation is not laziness or lack of motivation but fear, because clarity makes the goal real, and the moment a goal becomes real your mind begins to calculate risk, uncertainty, and possible failure, which is why fear often appears right after clarity. Fear is not your enemy but your nervous system trying to protect you, because the brain is wired for safety and familiarity, not growth. And whenever you step into something new your mind treats uncertainty as danger, creating resistance not because you are incapable but because you are moving beyond what feels predictable. The fear of failure is rarely about the event itself but about identity, because when you imagine failing you are not just thinking about a mistake, you are imagining what that mistake would mean about you as a person. And to avoid that identity threat many people choose inaction, since inaction feels safer than risking proof that they were not good enough. Fear of judgment is deeply social and psychological, because human beings evolved in groups where rejection meant danger, and even today criticism or embarrassment activates that same survival response, which is why visibility feels uncomfortable and why people shrink their ambitions to avoid being seen trying and possibly failing. Underneath fear often sit limiting beliefs such as I am not ready, I am not talented enough, or people like me do not succeed, and these beliefs operate quietly in the background shaping decisions, because unless you consciously challenge them they continue to define the size of your actions. Manifestation is not blind positivity but emotional regulation, which means the goal is not to eliminate fear but to manage your response to it, to notice the discomfort without letting it control you, to breathe through the anxiety, and to act anyway even when your heart is still racing. The comfort zone feels safe not because it is fulfilling but because it is familiar, and even dissatisfaction can feel comfortable if it is predictable. Which is why growth requires small intentional discomforts that slowly expand your tolerance for uncertainty rather than dramatic leaps that overwhelm your nervous system. Every time you act despite fear you send evidence to your brain that you are capable, and identity shifts through repetition not inspiration, because repeated action rewires belief systems and gradually reduces the emotional intensity of fear. Confidence does not come before courage but after it, because courage is simply movement in the presence of fear, and each small action builds emotional resilience, proving to you that fear does not have to dictate your behavior. Your internal dialogue directly influences your emotional state, so when your mind says I cannot do this your body responds with stress, but when you replace that sentence with I am learning or I can improve, you regulate emotion, and regulated emotion makes consistent action possible. Instead of asking how to eliminate fear, ask what the fear is pointing toward, because often fear highlights the exact area where growth, expansion, and transformation are waiting, and the presence of fear does not mean stop but rather proceed with awareness. You now understand that fear and doubt are natural psychological responses, but beneath them lies something deeper which is self-worth, because sometimes you hesitate not because you fear failure but because you do not fully believe you deserve success. And in the next chapter we explore how self-worth shapes manifestation at its core. If this breakdown helped you think differently, subscribe to the channel. We're exploring powerful books, one chapter at a time. And if you know someone who needs this message, share it with them. See you in the next chapter.